Dudes, what's happening? It's Trent, and I know that most of you guys probably tune into my channel for art tips and video game art related discussion. But I wanted to show you some of my favorite games, and this isn't replacing that art aspect of what my channel is. This is in addition to it. I want to show you my inspirations and what I take away from a truly epic and awesome game. So we're going to be doing a little bit of something different. I'm going to be kind of analyzing the game from a design standpoint, dropping a little bit of knowledge, a little bit info on how some of the stuff is made, and we might even make some assets or do some character concept inspired by the game that I'm currently playing, which is Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. And this is one of my all-time favorites, just from any era. It definitely goes in my top 5 of all time for memorable experiences, cool bosses, and just overall polish. It really set a different standard, like with the colored tones. Everything else was kind of colorful and bright. It was coming out across all game systems at the time. This was like dark military, but it wasn't just about shooting up stuff. I mean, it was about avoiding detection and outsmarting your enemies. I played the demo. I actually had to go to EB, Electronics Boutique at the time, before GameStop. And I picked up a demo, and I played probably 20 hours of just the demo. They gave you a couple of cool, fun toys to play around with in that demo. It was pretty rad. But today we're gonna play Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 from the get-go. Now I wanted to actually start it from the loading screen because everything down to the audio is just tip-top on this game. It does not get any better than this for PS1. Oh, I miss that logo, that sound. I'm not going to talk through most of the cutscenes and things like that, though. I'm going to let you soak it in.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have 2 mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound's squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
You know, I love how that intro really just kind of summarizes all the information that we're going to need to set us up for this mission, you know, what we're about to go into. All right, so let's do it. New game, here we go. Let's play. Oh man, they blocked off extreme. That was my first choice. I guess we'll have to go with normal. And yeah, I could have played this on the higher resolution, you know, PC version, but I actually really like the pixels. I like the I like seeing a little bit of the pixels. It takes me back.
Can you be through here? I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface. But make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
It's an interesting choice that they would do the 2D character sprites for the codec talk. And before we jump into the action here, we're going to pick up a couple of kind of hidden items here. These will come in handy. That's so cool. Look, you can go to first person view. Look up. This is before they even had an analog stick. You have to use the D-pad. I'm actually playing with an Xbox 360 controller on an emulator. I do still own the PS1 discs for this game. I have 3 copies. He's gonna spot me. See if I remember all the controls. Got it. This room just gives me the feels, man. Takes me back and gives me the feels. Good thing that guy can't see under that thing. Oh, shit. That was so close. I love getting, like, sneaking up on a dude and getting a choke on him like that. Baller. I think if you walk through that, it makes a noise. Sometimes it's tough. Ah, I see, he got me. Sometimes it doesn't quite detect it right. It's very finicky. That's a nice little escape route. What's cool about this room, let's talk about game design a little bit. What's really cool about this area is that it's a self-contained sample of almost all of the major game mechanics that you're gonna have to know how to do as you play through the rest of the game. Kojima is notorious for doing this. When you look at every single Metal Gear game, he always does a little sample game that polishes out all the controls and all the game mechanics so that you can experiment with some gear. There isn't really much gear here. You got smokes, you got a scope that you can play around with a little bit, rations, and a couple of guards that aren't really going to kill you. You've got like a nice little safety net by being able to run off and jump into the water. You can peek around corners, stuff like that. All the major game mechanics are established here, and then it progressively gets more challenging. If you look at every Metal Gear, they always do this. If you look at Metal Gear Solid 2, see if I can, oh, come on. There we go. Ha ha! Snap. The bodies just disappear in this one. Later on, that you have to like hide the bodies. So if you look at Metal Gear Solid 2, there's the tanker mission. If you look at Metal Gear Solid 3, there's the you have to pick up Sokolov. You have to sneak up to Sokolov. You have to learn about how to use camo and how to fight wild animals, collect fruit, and like what you can do with all the basic game mechanics are set up. And then God, look at this, it's so beautiful. And then it drops you into the real game later. With Metal Gear Solid 4, it was the same deal at the very beginning. Well, that was kind of stage-based, the whole game was, but there's you go out to the Middle East, to Afghanistan. Was that Afghanistan? You go out to the Middle East, and there's this sample area where you have to, you get a beat on, you're tracking down Liquid Ocelot at that time. And then once you get to them, everything changes. Like then you go into the real game. It's like a prologue. It's like very specific markers. The biggest example of this is the Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain. Ground Zeroes was intended to be sort of the sampling. That was this room, was essentially what Ground Zeroes was. All your gameplay mechanics are set up in that initial room. The player learns how to play your game, and then you throw him into the knee-deep into the story. And that's how you do it Kojima style. You ready to move on? Let's do it. Let's set ourselves up with a hot intro. They used a lot of alpha channels in that room, by the way. And that just gives you like transparency. You'll notice a lot of things are really flat. Right there, you can see the beams. There's no geometry there. That is one massive texture that has alpha channel cutouts. Sort of a cheap way to get a lot of detail and create the illusion of a lot of geometry. There's really very little geometry in that whole room. Love this shot. The one coming up here. Check out those alpha cards. Also, they had to do their textures on, oh, there it is, Metal Gear. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here? Most of those textures, I think, are on like 128 by 128. You can see it here too. Very clever. Oh, look at that truck, dude. It's got to be like less than 60 polys on that whole truck.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
Thanks to the VR training I did on board the Discovery.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
Behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea, but it looks like our little diversion got their attention. Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed.
So badass. I love that idea.
There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. But I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision. Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice. I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to record your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you're naked. You need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First, I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
I'll hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
I wonder if somebody made a pixelated game like this, if people would just hate that. I think it's got a charm.
If you want to get in, there's the front door. It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in. There's one sentry on the left and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
Pretty rigid animation, too.
What about the air duct near the door? There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
It's an interesting blend of, part of it is that the textures are low resolution. Like I said, you're looking at probably 128 by 128 pixel textures. And then combine that with also the PlayStation 1's rendering capabilities. I mean, it can't really do, I'm all maxed out on the rations. It can't really do very high resolution rendering. I mean, that's why I say I could have like played the PC version of this, and we would have gotten rid of a lot of that. But I actually prefer this because you get like these cool jagged lines on things. So rad. Oh my god. So cool. I get so inspired every time I play this. How many times have I played this? At least 30 to the end. And I would say many times I've started it and then not finished it many times, but it's still such a pleasure to look around. Look at these snowflakes. Yeah, they pop in and out now and then, but man, there was nothing like this at the time. Tenchu was pretty good, but not quite to the level of polish that Metal Gear Solid was, even though that's pretty bland out there. You can see the repeating texture going on. I love the snowflakes are actually like square pixels. So we could run up here and dodge that spotlight. Maybe we'll try that later, but for now, you know what? I'm gonna save. Let's call Mei Ling. She's always got something interesting to say.
What's up, Snake?
She also had more of a Chinese accent in the original, and then for the Twin Snakes remake, they changed out her voice actress. And while the new voice actress does a good job,
What the girl said. The graveyards are full of indispensable men. Snake, you're all alone and surrounded by bad guys. Try to be careful and avoid getting into a fight whenever you can.
You're right. Wow, you know all sorts of great quotes, don't you?
Well, both my parents are from Guangdong, China, but I was born and raised in America. I've always liked reading literature from both sides. Kinda keeps me in touch. I'll share some more quotes with you if you like.
I'm looking forward to it. But to tell you the truth, I'd like to learn more about you.
yeah.
Well, I'll think about it.
You know, even Metal Gear doesn't do Metal Gear like Metal Gear used to do Metal Gear, if you know what I'm saying. Now, attention to detail, this is what really made the series brilliant. Your little subtleties like this, your steps, you'll actually leave steps in the snow. And you can avoid it by crawling, but if a guard sees your steps, he gets like very interested in who made those steps, and he starts looking around. Now, I don't even have a gun. Let's see if we can find a gun. I have an idea of where one might be. Oh, you know what? It is using point lights. You can see them on the characters. So a lot of these lights are not baked in, but I guarantee you that shadow on the other side of that crate that I'm standing on, or next to, guaranteed. Oh, see, he saw my footprints. I guarantee you. Oh, shit. I gotta go hide. Yeah, those shadows for those crates are baked in. What that means is that they actually sort of, it plants it into the geometry. So you'll notice if you walk by it, your character is affected by the directional light and also the point lights in the scene. But if you walk by it, Yeah, he's in shadow, but it's not a strong line shadow like you're seeing on the ground. That is not a real-time lighting situation. I wish the snow looked better. But man, PS1. Where'd that guy go? Sorry I'm not better at this game. I'm a little rusty with the 360 controls. They're not very precise. Ah, there's the gun, the SOCOM. Oh shit. Get out of there. You can hear their footsteps. They look so cool! Look at that guy. Oh. Oh. Man, this takes me back. Love it. Gonna turn around and watch. Ha-ha! Nice. Feels so good. When you can do a whole run where you don't make any alarms, you don't start any alarms, you don't get spotted at all, it's like the best feeling in this game.
A surveillance camera?
Be very sneaky about this. Against the wall. We're gonna take our time. I don't want to embarrass myself by doing a poor sneaking job. I'm supposed to be good at this. Played it 30 times. You're phony. Oh shit. Sometimes you, because of this controller, I'll detach from the wall on accident. Alright, dudes, let's see. What is this thing? I don't remember. Night vision goggles? Possibly. You know what? Let's... Ah! Terrible. Terrible at this game. And this is... The enemies weren't super bright. I mean, that guard over there, he did not even react. You got a guard up on the right side who did... some alarm. Oh, that guy ran out. They sent one dude. Oh. Some hardcore security out here. We are playing on normal mode. I think if this were hard mode, it would be a lot more brutal. And then that alarm only lasted, how long was that? A couple of seconds. Less than 30 seconds. Very forgiving. But I think they respawn some of the guards. So what did I even pick up? I did get it, didn't I? I got it. What did I even pick up? Stun grenades. Did I even need that? I don't even really think I needed that. Chaff grenades, basically, I don't know if that's how you say it, but chaff grenades, you can use them to knock out electrical devices. I remembered he only stands in that position for a second. Ah, I'm getting spotted every single time. It's a good thing that the alarms are very forgiving. Is he going to come running down? He is. This is going to be one of the worst Metal Gear playthroughs that you'll watch all year. Maybe afterwards I'll do a better one. I'll just edit that part out. Yeah. Through the magic of video editing. Let's get to the other side of this guy. So there's two ways that I could go in, and I love that about this game. There's almost always multiple options for different routes you could go. I personally like the upper route because it gives you a chance to sort of take a peek through some of the vents. That's the way we're going to go. This is one of my favorite things to do sometimes, is like sit up here, hide behind that box, and then watch the guards go by. We're going to do it just because it's kind of cool. Thrilling, right? thing is, there's so much atmosphere. There was never a game that felt like you were in a base, like sneaking into a base. I grew up on G.I. Joe, and my brother and I... Oh, there he goes. Nice. I could pop down and like snap his neck right now. If I can sneak up on him. Ah, you missed it again. Don't try to do it while they're walking. Ha ha! Gotcha again. I grew up on playing a lot of G.I. Joes as a kid, and I always liked playing as Storm Shadow or Snake Eyes because they were ninja warriors, and you had to be all stealthy. I'm just gonna go for it. Let's call... Did we miss our call? Was it Campbell? I think he was just going to tell us that you could go through the vent.
Good. You've got yourself a weapon.
Oh, that's
to
right.
use it, first hold down the R2 button to enter weapon mode. Then select the weapon you want with the directional button. After you've selected the weapon you want, let go of the R2 button to exit weapon mode. The weapon you selected should appear in your hand.
You mean like
to
a
use the
menu?
weapon, follow the directions displayed in the window. If you use the R1 button, you can equip your weapon more quickly. While you're barehanded, press the R1 button to equip the last weapon you used. Press the R1 button while you're holding a weapon to be barehanded again.
Totally.
Don't fire your gun needlessly, or you might be discovered. If you had a gun with a suppressor, it would be a different story.
Let's see if we can find a
If you
suppressor.
have any questions about weapons or equipment, you should ask our military analyst, Nastasha. Her frequency is 141.52.
Nastasha Romanenkov? Is that what it is? I forgot. 152. What did he say? Oh, shit. I forgot to... Oh, it was 152. Oh, of course I hit the wrong button. Let's try. 152.
This is Nastasha Romanenko.
Yeah,
A pleasure to
still got
work
it.
with you, Solid Snake.
You're the nuclear specialist that the Colonel mentioned?
That's me. You can ask me anything about nukes that you want.
Hot.
I am also a military analyst, so I have an extensive knowledge of weapon systems as well. They asked me to participate in this operation as a supervisor from the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. I was happy to accept. We must not allow terrorists to get their hands on nuclear weapons of any kind. I hope I can help you to stop them.
You're a tough lady.
Those terrorists are serious about launching a nuclear weapon? The world cannot stand by idly and allow that to happen, and neither can I. Unfortunately, all I can do from here is provide you with information.
Hopefully that'll be enough. Another soldier here wouldn't make a difference anyway. It's good to work with you, Nastasha.
Same here, Snake.
Ah, Nastasha. She's totally optional. You don't even have to use her frequency. You could go the whole game and never even talk to her. I think she pops up at the very end.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island was built at the beginning of this century. It was made only to temporarily store the nuclear warheads.
Why? If they wanted to dispose of them, why wouldn't they just dismantle them right away?
They cannot do that. You see, when you dismantle a warhead, you still have nuclear materials that must be stored. At this point, all of the nuclear material storage facilities are way past capacity. But they could not stop dismantling weapons while at the same time pushing Start 2.
So you're telling me that this base was built so they could temporarily avoid being in conflict with Start 2?
Most people think that we live in a safer world now. But with all the dismantled nuclear weapons and waste around, the threat of nuclear terrorism has increased tremendously.
It's ironic, isn't it?
It's very ironic. Let's see what else she has to say.
After the START 2 Accord was signed on January 3rd, 1993, Russia and the US reduced their strategic nuclear warheads to between 3,000 and 3,500 warheads each. They completely dismantled all of the ICBMs which contained MIRVs. As a result of that, there are over 15,000 dismantled nuclear warheads waiting to be disposed of.
but you can't really dispose of this stuff. In fact, thousands of gallons of muff are reported every year. That's material unaccounted for. We'll find that out later.
The warheads are supposed to be dismantled at Pantex or some other dismantling facility, but there are limits to how many warheads they can process. We just do not have the capabilities to dismantle all the warheads that are out there.
A lot of this is really grounded in reality, too.
Over 200 tons of plutonium and over 1,000 tons of high-grade uranium have been removed from nuclear weapons so far. And on top of that, nuclear reactors all over the world continue to produce and leak spent nuclear fuel. According to one estimate, as of the year 2005, America alone was storing over 50,000 tons of nuclear material.
That's a lot.
There is no room left in our nuclear material storage sites. That is why we need nuclear weapon disposal facilities.
Shadow Moses is a nuclear weapons disposal facility. I wonder if we'll run into any of that stuff. Some dismantled warheads.
The warheads are supposed to be dismantled at
Oh,
Pantex.
we already know this one. Let's skip it. Okay. Back to the mission. All right. Man, I get claustrophobic. I couldn't do it. But Solid Snake, he could. He's a pro. Look at that texture. Oh, man, I miss stuff like that. Holy shit, it's good. Oh, man. What an era.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80.
180, got it. So what's awesome about Miller is if you've played the Phantom Pain, you get so much more context for his character. Let's call him now so that we can... Oh, he's already in there. 180, let's call him.
Snake, you've got to think. Your mind is your most dangerous weapon. If things are getting too complicated, try to simplify your thoughts. You can also try calling Campbell for advice.
But don't call me.
Soldiers that have been forged in the fires of battle are used to catching naps whenever and wherever they can. There's a big difference between real soldiers and those kids who have only been trained in VR simulators. After playing for a long time, you should get some rest too.
By the way, I am going to be doing the long playthrough where I try to dig up every line of dialogue. I haven't done that in a while. A lot of times when I'm playing alone, I'll just skip a lot of it nowadays.
People's reaction speed is slowest around 3 o'clock in the morning, and so is their judgment. If you're feeling drowsy, you should get some sleep.
I think I have excellent judgment at 3 a.m. personally.
It's also important to be able to control your bodily functions. You never know when a long demo is about to begin. So make sure you're prepared to sit in front of the monitor for a long time if necessary.
I hope you're prepared to sit in front of a monitor for a long time.
It's never a good idea to fight on too full a stomach. It'll make you logy, maybe even sleepy. You should wait 30 minutes after eating before you play.
Who would possibly do that? Who would do that?
Where I come from, a soldier who loses his head in combat is called a target.
That's hardcore. Well, he was in MSF. So. Right. What else you got, Master?
Military C rations place an emphasis on calories. That's why it's best to use them along with some other type of nutritional supplement, such as vitamins or minerals.
That is really useful information if you're, living on sea rations.
The weather in Alaska is very hard to predict. It can change on a dime. A lot of people say it's the worst weather in the world.
I could never do it. I could never be a musher. Nope. Can't stand the cold. Moving to an island.
It's also important to be able to control your bodily...
I've heard everything you got to say. Somebody did the research, man, for shizzles. Okay. What do we got here? Controller's super sensitive. You can't just like look down a little bit. There we go. Huh. Looks like they actually put that texture on sideways too, so the pixels line up. It's like some kind of tank hanger or something. Use the texture, mirror it. Oh, what have we here?
I moved the DARPA chief to the cell in the first floor basement.
What about the vent shaft cleaning?
They just opened the vent covers. They're about to start spraying for rats.
First floor basement ventilation shaft.
Shut those covers as soon as they're done spraying. Also, keep your eye on that woman in the cell. Don't get careless now.
Woman in the cell?
Woman in the cell? Did something happen?
There's an intruder.
Really?
He's already done 3 people.
He's killed 3 people?
Yeah. Say he's using stealth, too.
Stealth? There's an intruder besides me?
Anyway, I want you to increase the security detail on the chief.
Can't really see anything from here. Let's not get turned around. What game does this? Name me one game that's anything like this, even still to this day. Nothing. Nothing. Looks like a storage room. Security cameras up here. You have to be careful. Although if I get spotted, it'll only last for 30 seconds. What's in here? Some kind of office with an old 1970s or 80s computer. Big old keyboard. Doesn't even have holograms yet. So this one's kind of tricky. You can actually like go right by this, I think. I think if you don't push anything, you can... He's just going to tell you how to climb down. You don't need to hear that. We already know. Grab this ration that we don't need. Of course we don't need it. But let's just grab it anyway, because there's no other way back up here later anyway. So I recently played the Twin Snakes version and had an awesome time with it. Totally different.
Use
cutscenes.
the elevator to change floors. There should be a cargo elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
I've got an idea of where it is. So yeah, it was, see, we didn't even need those chaff grenades. But this is a good spot for them. I think they might alarm the guards, though. Let's find out. Oh, excellent. And this door is locked. Number 2 pass card. This one, I believe there's a camera up there. Let's hang back for a second. Let's throw another one. Grab this item. Thermal gogs. We'll need those. Man. Let's take a look around. Okay, there's nobody up here. But I think if you walk along that platform, it's going to make some noise. So you want to make sure that that guard is not directly under you when you decide to make your run across here. So in Twin Snakes, you could like hang over the edge, shimmy along the edge of it, I should say. There's it's almost too easy though. But if you play it on the extreme difficulty, oh man, it's tough. What do we got? We got a security camera up there. Now, I'm not going to have the key card for this door, even though it's a 1. I don't have any key cards yet. And if you look at the map, we got a dude like patrolling right below the stairs. Gotta time your run. You don't want to make too much noise on these floors either. This is a tricky spot. I get spotted there a lot. You kind of end up spending a huge portion of the game looking at that mini map. Oh, did you see how he just turned around like that? Yeah. Be careful. Oh, that was close. So I take him out because we got to get to here. That's a fast elevator. You know what? I think that there's something under this tank. Let's find out. Nope. Nothing. But now that dude's coming, you can hear his footsteps. They look pretty plain, but damn, they look cool. It's the ski mask thing. This button thing. I don't think we can go into any of the rooms yet. Let's go down to B1. Oh, the music is so good. What's up?
Look at the radar. It's picking up the DARPA chief. He's the green dot. Hurry and rescue him.
The DARPA chief? Donald Anderson? Love this. Okay, so look at how they did the lights at the top of the hallway. They're implied here when you're looking down, so you still see them, but they have like an opacity to them so that you can really get a sense that you're looking down the hallway. The camera shifts subtly to a straight down position so you can really see if you were going to hide behind that wall. I love how the camera shifts to the side when you do like the cornering. That's beautiful. You can't really move it once you're up against that corner. And the later versions you can, or the like 2, 3, and 4. Much better controls in the latter games. Easier to sneak up on people and choke them out. Or hold up and things like that. It's another one of the changes with the Twin Snakes is that they added a lot of the functionality of 2 into
Snake,
this.
if you want to go up or down a ladder, just press the action button by the ladder.
No problem. So there is a little hidden thing over here. Most people kind of miss this, but it's an extra ration. I'm doing pretty damn good without it. So, by the way, I also like to keep the ration on because if you take too many hits, it'll just automatically use it if he needs it. Thermal gogs. I actually like these thermal gogs a lot more than the thermal gogs from Sons of Liberty. But I think that this is a good spot. This is a good spot to end this episode. Next episode, we'll go and rescue the DARPA chief, no problem, and find out a little bit more about this mysterious other intruder at the nuclear disposal facility. All right, dudes. Till the next vid, I'll catch y'all later.